How you guys doing? Welcome to the Noises Under the Bed channel, where we read you stories and hopefully entertain you in the process. I am your coming ace, and I will be reading you guys The Little Boy in the Snow. And if you like this story, please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to bring you content as much as we can, and please like the video and comment. Let us know how we're doing. See you guys at the end of the video. Caleb always spent each day doing the same thing. He'd wake up, shower, eat a bowl of oatmeal, then put on his clothes and head to work. He'd work his shift and then cut through the park to catch his 9 p.m. train home, just to repeat the same cycle the next day. So on this Monday, everything was the same. He'd wake up, showered, eat his bowl of oatmeal, then put on his clothes and headed to work. After his shift ended, he asked his boss for any available overtime. His boss replies, "Caleb, you haven't used any of your vacation time in 9 years. The higher ups are thinking I'm working you too hard." Caleb says, "I just don't have anything to do at home. Why would I vacation when I have no friends or family to go with?" His boss signs and says, "Look, we can't force you to take a vacation, but we can deny you overtime. You need time to yourself. You can't run away forever." Caleb silently walks out the room and goes home. He followed his same routine home. He cut through the park to catch his 9 p.m. train, and as he was walking, Caleb noticed that the snow starts to fall. As he stopped to look up at it, a sad look falls upon his face, and he continued to walk. Halfway through the park, he noticed a little boy sitting in the snow. He looked as if he was no older than 8 or 9. His knees were bent, and his arms were wrapped around him. As Caleb passed him, he noticed that the boy's face was turning red, almost as if he was embarrassed. Caleb wanted to just walk past him, but his conscience wouldn't let him. He at least had to know if the boy was okay. As Caleb passed, he asked, "Hey kid, you okay?" He looked back to see the little boy shake his head yes, nervously. So Caleb kept walking. Tuesday came, and he went through his normal morning routine. He headed to work, he worked his normal hours, and then as usual, cut through the park to go home. Halfway through, he saw the same little boy, but this time he was standing still, looking as nervous as the day before. As Caleb passed him, he could tell that the boy wanted to say something. So Caleb stopped and asked the boy, "Where's your mom?" Hesitantly, the boy responds, She's back at home." Caleb says, "Why are you here by yourself?" The boy said, "I was looking for my father. My mom thinks he may be mad at us because he never comes to visit." Caleb responds saying, "Even if he's mad, you're his son. There's no excuse not to visit you." The boy looks down at the ground and tears fall from his face. Feeling bad, Caleb offers the boy his sandwich. He made it for lunch today, but he didn't have much of an appetite. The boy wipes his face and started eating the sandwich. Caleb smiles and says, "Slow down, it's not going anywhere." The boy looks up and continues to eat. Caleb tells the boy to hurry home because it was getting late. The boy nods and started walking the opposite direction. Wednesday came, and Caleb followed his normal morning routine, but he stopped to make 2 sandwiches, thinking that he might see the little boy again. He thinks that he might need to contact the police because the boy may be homeless. He finished his workday and started walking through the park, and sure enough, the boy was there, but this time sitting on a bench. Caleb walked up and gave the boy one of the sandwiches, and he started to eat his. As they ate, Caleb asked the boy, "Why do you keep coming to this park? It's snowing and cold out." The boy replies, "Because I want to see my dad." Caleb says, "But why not look elsewhere?" The boy says, "Because mommy told me he would be here." Caleb asked, "So what do you plan to do when you find him?" The boy responds, "I don't know." Caleb signs and says, "You don't have much of a plan worked out." The boy says, "My mommy told me my dad was the same way. He always just did things off emotion. He never worried about a plan. He just made the best of what happened in the end. She said that's why she fell in love with him." Caleb stands up and says, "Well, he must not have loved her back if he never visits." Boy stands up angrily and says, "That's not true. Mommy says he's just having a hard time, but she believes he will come and visit one day." Caleb sees how upset he made the boy, so he walks past him and says, "Just make it home safe, kid." Thursday came, and this morning Caleb woke up earlier than normal. He made 2 sandwiches, but this time he packed cookies and some sodas. He really wanted to apologize to the boy for last night. When work ended, Caleb was the first one out the door. His boss looked shocked. He said, "It's been so long since I saw him leave so quickly." Caleb rushed to the park expecting to see the boy waiting in the same spot, but when he made it halfway through, the boy wasn't there. Caleb sat on the bench thinking, He may have hurt the little boy's feelings when all of a sudden a snowball hits Caleb in the head. He looks back to see the little boy laughing. Caleb jumps up and balls up a snowball and throws it at the little boy. The two play in the snow for a while, and Caleb teaches the boy how to make a snowman because he said he never made one before. As time passed, they stopped and ate the food as the boy listened to stories Caleb told about his younger days. The two shared a laugh, and then Caleb realized that he was about to miss his last train home. Caleb asked the boy if he needed to explain to his mother about how late he is. The boy said no, and said his mother knows about him, and she says, "I'm okay as long as I'm with you." Caleb decides to ask for the boy's name. He actually never realized he didn't know it. The boy smiled and said, "Let me tell you tomorrow," and ran off in the other direction. Friday came. Caleb was up early. He made 2 sandwiches again and headed to work. When the workday was over, he was the first one out again. A coworker laughed and said, "I can't believe that wet blanket left first again." The boss, hearing that remark, says, "You'd be surprised. He wasn't always like that." Caleb rushed to the park, excited as ever. As he made it halfway through, he saw the boy sitting on the bench with a sad look on his face. Caleb sits down next to him and asked, "What's wrong?" The boy says, "My mother says this will be my last time coming here. We have to return home." Caleb says, "It's going to be okay. I know you never found your dad, but you gave me so much joy this past week. Honestly, I haven't been as happy in years." The boy looks up and smiles, saying, "Yeah, this has been the best week I ever had." Caleb says, "Don't say that. You have a long life ahead of you. You will have so many more weeks, way better than this one ever was." The boy shakes his head no and says, "No, this is definitely the best week I'll ever have." And with a smile, he looks up at Caleb and says, "Because I got to spend it with my dad." The boss tells the worker that 8 years ago, Caleb was a completely different person. He was married to his high school sweetheart, and they had a son that was barely a year old. Back then, he was always the last one here and the first one to leave, but I didn't mind. He had such a passion and drive back then, it was like he could do no wrong. On a snowy day like this one, Caleb's wife was driving with their baby in the back seat. Somehow she lost control of the vehicle and smashed into a tree. Both of them died on the scene. The coworker slowly responded saying, I didn't know." Caleb jumps up in shock saying, "Look kid, this isn't fun. I have no children. My wife and child died a long time ago." Caleb starts to walk away saying, "It was nice knowing you, kid. Get home safe." The boy stands up screaming, "My name is Caleb Nathan Young Jr. I was named after my father. I was born on June 11, 2008. My mom calls me CJ for short. The reason I knew I could find you here is because my mom said this is the place she always met you when you got off work." Caleb slowly turns around with tears falling from his face. The boy continues and says, "Please don't be mad at mommy. When she was driving, I threw a toy in the front seat and I started crying for it. So when mommy reached for it, that's when she crashed. So please don't be mad at mommy. She really wants to see you." Caleb runs and picks the boy up, hugging him. He said, No, I'm sorry. I can never be mad at you too. I just missed you so much that it was hard to visit your graves. So come on, let's go visit mommy." The boy says, "We can't. Only one of us got to come back, and mommy told me it'll be best if you got to see me. I'm sorry if we made the wrong decision." Caleb says, No, this has been the perfect week. From the moment I saw you, I felt like I knew you. And come to find out, I was spending time with my own son. The boy lets go of Caleb and says, "I'm sorry, I have to go back to mommy. She'll get lonely if I don't go back." Caleb begs, "Can I have one more day with you, please?" The boy says, "I can't. I was only given a few amount of days to find you and talk to you. I'm sorry for not telling you sooner, but I was too nervous." Caleb says, "It's okay. I'm just happy to see you now." The boy says, "Will you come visit mommy now?" And Caleb, grabbing and hugging him again, says, "I promise." And as they were hugging, Caleb feels his arm starting to lighten. And before he can open his eyes, the boy was gone. Saturday came, and Caleb was scheduled to work today, but his boss received a vacation request instead. He happily accepted it. Caleb walks through a graveyard holding a bouquet of flowers. He stops at one grave and says, "Hello, dear. Forgive me for taking so long, but thank you for sending our little boy to find me. But now that I'm here, I plan to make up for all the time I've lost." Thank you guys for making it to the end of the video, and I'm glad this story came out when it did, because a friend of mine just lost somebody very important to him. And if this story can teach you anything, is just because they're gone doesn't mean they're forgotten. So to my friend, just because she's gone doesn't mean she's forgotten. I'm here for you. I have your back. And you guys, please leave your condolences for my friend in the comments below. Thank you guys for listening. You're coming Ace, and I'm out.